Welcome to our viewers and listeners from around the world. This is Endgame Episode 7. I'm your host, Christopher Helali. There's a lot happening in the world, and here to help us break it down, we have two very special guests tonight. I want to introduce our first guest, who's a dear friend of mine, and I'm looking forward to seeing him in person very soon. I'd like to introduce Alex White, award-winning journalist and founder of Reporterfy Media and Travel, based in Chongqing, China. Alex, how are you doing, brother? Good to see you.
Great, Chris. Great to be on the program tonight. We got a lot of topics to cover and excited to be part of the show tonight. Thanks again.
Thank you so much for coming on. Let's break it down. First and foremost, we had a very, very big and high-level visit by President Trump of the U.S., who went to Beijing. He brought a whole slew of people, including Elon Musk with him, and numerous people from business, from the tech industry, also the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, which was quite surprising. I want to ask you first what you make of the trip that happened to China by the president of the U.S. and what you make of what's happening and what's developing there.
Well, when you bring $14.7 trillion in market cap along with you, it does scream desperation. And we are seeing exactly that. With the United States and their administration, I mean, no one really is, I would say, rolling out the red carpet for them like they used to. Now, we see Trump trying to say, he's got a great relationship with Xi Jinping here in China. But again, what did they accomplish when they were here? It was a lot of photographs, a lot of high-level meetings. But again, the takeaway from this was, well, no real agreement in regards to tariffs. And this is a nation that not too long ago, last April, put China on notice that, hey, they're willing to destroy a relationship with one of their largest trading partners by not just going 10%, 20%, 30%, 50, 100, but going 150% on the tariffs. And if that doesn't blow up a relationship, I don't know what does. A lot more to cover here, Chris, but back to you.
Listen, you're absolutely right. I mean, the U.S. and China are very important and vital to one another. But as you've said, it's been a sort of unbalanced relationship in the sense that this imbalance is caused by the U.S.'s hostility to China. China, as you know, is all about win-win economics, win-win diplomacy, win-win in everything. And you see they're building infrastructure in Africa, in Latin America, in other parts of Asia. And they are really focused on Belt and Road and economic development and prosperity. I was just in China just over the past twice now, so far this year. And we see a lot of development, especially in rural areas like in Guizhou province, where I just saw this enormous bridge, the biggest suspension bridge in the world. And they just built it in a rural area to support the people. So when you see things like that, you understand China. But the United States, on the other hand, has been very aggressive towards China, very hostile towards China. And of course, you hear all the things, the CPC, CCP, all this, Confucius Institutes are, spy dens for the Communist Party. Now I want you to take that trip, and I want you to then assess it with the recent trip after 25 years of good relations by President Vladimir Putin of the Russian Federation. Now, Soviet Union and China had a long-standing relationship, 1949, and before the Soviet Union supported the communists in the war against the Japanese, then also in the war against the Kuomintang, and then, of course, helped them build the country for the first decade or so. So there are warm relations. There was also a frosty period, Sino-Soviet split, all these things. Now, in the past 25 years, we've seen real strength. And I think the deepest relationship we've ever seen between Russia and China. What do you make of President Putin's visit, and how is it being seen in China?
Well, you saw it, red carpet rolled out. This is a relationship that will not be torn apart, no matter how hard the Americans throw down the geopolitical carpet. It's not going to happen. There are too many ties here. Russia is long, and I repeat this to the viewers here. Russia is long what China needs. They got trees, we want them here in China. They got oil, we want it here in China. They got natural gas, we want it here in China. And when you got a neighbor like Russia, which is geographically one of the largest nations in the world, and they're good friends to you, well, good things happen. What does that mean? What does the Belt and Road mean to the actual viewers here? Well, it's a bonding relationship that is built with support. China will come in. They will support a nation. They will help a nation build its infrastructure. They will open up small banks like they used to in the old days in North America, where you could meet your bank manager, you're a small business owner, you wanted to start a company and needed a little bridge loan, banks would do that. America, well, they'll take your money and your home while they're at it. In China, what they do is they get behind these nations. They build small businesses. It's like connecting the dots worldwide here. And when you got 154 million or 154 countries trading multi-billions of dollars, good things happen. Now, what does that mean for the trading environment for the United States? Well, you hear them scream, you hear them shout. And as my father always said, the guilty scream the loudest here. America loves to bomb, America loves to bully, and America loves to bankrupt nations. Well, China, they go in there and they pretty much, I would say, revolutionize entire economies. We've seen it. Look at some of the high-speed rail going in Kenya. Yes, Kenya. Some of these nations that are experiencing boom times ahead. This is a relationship that continues. And there's something else that the viewers have to understand is there are very, very powerful technology here in China. They have a super app, which most countries don't really understand what that means. This super app is called WeChat. In WeChat, you can systematically open a company in less than 2 days, open up a bank account in less than 1 day, and transfer to all these nations around the world. 154 of them will now embrace this technology. Imagine driving from one country to another. You used to have to exchange currencies. Now it's on your mobile phone with one application. As this spreads out, as the relation spreads out, everyone will be starting to trade in CNY. And good luck stopping that one.
No, I think you're absolutely right. And one of the big developments has been also in this electronic payments, Alipay, WeChat, so many of these solutions which have revolutionized. I mean, when I was in China for the first time in 2013, I did my master's there from 2013 to 2015. Paper money, currency was still king. But slowly I saw the rollout of these apps. And now when I go to China, nobody wants to accept paper money. Everybody wants it done by app. They want it done. It's all integrated now. Your card's connected to WeChat or to Alipay, and everything is done with a QR code or a tap of this, a tap of that, and you end up transferring, and not just small sums. We're talking major sums of money that are just done instantaneously. You don't have to worry about anything anymore. And this is a big development. Of course, there are a lot of critics. There are a lot of people who say that, China has, is a totalitarian state, quote unquote. It's authoritarian. It has a social credit score. It has this. It has that. What do you make of these claims? And when people talk like this, how do you assess that and how do you push back against it?
Anybody that gives me an office that I can go to get a social credit score rating here in China, I will right now give you $1,000. Give me the address and the contact in China to visit, and I will systematically wire you $1,000. It just doesn't happen. It's not here. This is the beautiful hysteria that the propagandists in the United States, and don't forget, Hollywood is amazing. United States is amazing at propaganda. They're very good. Just look at the bullshit that was shoveled to us in the United States here from Hollywood over the last 20 and 30 years, from the likes of Universal Studios to Disney. I won't even go there. But let's talk about those payment systems and let's talk about these social scores. Okay, well, here's something that happened when you pull away cash from society. Now, people will go, well, I don't want the government monitoring my money. Okay, well, they're not really doing that. In fact, you have a digital wallet. Well, I really don't want that. Okay, well, that's all the crypto boys out then that have always been raging about, we have to have a digital wallet. Well, here's China actually implementing it into 154 countries around the world. Okay, it works. It works all the time. All right, you go to Thailand, you pull out your phone, you see a QR code from WeChat, bang, you pay, you move on systematically. Now, here's the people that are pissed off about this digital payment system. Well, let's see. Who would be angry that they can't move lots of money? Criminals, okay, drug dealers, prostitution rings, people like that. And we have seen a massive drop in that type of white collar crime here in China. That crime has dropped off the the cliff, Chris. You will not see. It will be very unusual for you to see, somebody walking around with even 1,000 RMB or 5,000 RMB. You see that and you go, well, what? That's money. That's cash. You stick out like a sore thumb here if you're walking around with wads of cash. Never seen it. Actually, I've never seen it in 5 or 6 years here. Now, let's talk about the social credit score system here. I mean, that's quite unique. Now, where they may be getting that is they might be seeing a few internet videos. Jordan Peterson, this guy's, I don't know where his brain went when he came to report China, but get on a effing plane and get over here, Mr. Peterson, before you look like a jackass. Now, if you try to really dissect that social credit score, okay, let's say somebody doesn't pay their loan, or let's say somebody defaults on a loan here. Well, there are laws in place that, well, it's going to be pretty difficult to travel outside of the country when you owe somebody money. Not a bad thing to do. If you're ripping off banks or ripping off, people in some shady deals, well, I think the victims would like to see that you can't really just kind of get away or head to Mexico. So it's something like that. Now, also, if you have a bad credit rating, you don't know how to manage your credit cards properly, yeah, you're going to have a credit card score, not a social credit score. Now, this whole thing about people not being able to take trains or being blocked by that, I've never seen it. If that does happen, it's it's quite unique. But yeah, and let's move on to the other thing about China here. That there's a very big misunderstanding is that this country, there's a lot of United States here in China, a lot. And what I mean by a lot is there are a lot of companies that sell their goods here. We have Tesla. And I think the average viewer thinks that Tesla is just a car that's made in North America. No, they have a gigafactory here in Shanghai. Now, Tesla sales haven't been doing that well here, Chris, lately. I was at the Beijing Auto Show 2026, saw over 1,450 vehicles there at the show, hundreds of new launches. Didn't see Tesla. Actually, didn't really see many North American car products there on location. And well, that's because the new energy vehicles, which people laughed at, people mocked at, people said these vehicles were garbage. They start on fire. They're terrible. They're a golf cart on batteries or a mobile on batteries. They ridiculed this new energy vehicle industry for years. Well, they're eating their words now. This business is absolutely booming, and it is coming to a country near you. They are unstoppable. We've seen the Japanese do it in car making. We saw the Koreans do it, and now it's China's turn. And this is going to be a total, and I'm telling you guys right now, an absolute total knockout to Ford and General Motors. Now, people would say, yes, but Chris, the Chinese, they're subsidizing their cars, and that's why they make them cheap. Now, I know that's not the consumer complaining that they're getting a cheap car. I know that's a consumer that will say, geez, if they're subsidizing, if they're that stupid to subsidize, then well, I'll take a couple, right? I don't think you would mind zero gravity seats, 27-inch drop down monitor in the back seat, 1,000 kilometers to 1,400 kilometers extended range car that is autonomous driving with LiDAR technology and surround sound with 14 airbags. I don't think the average person would mind that. But let's say they are subsidizing the car industry. What does America do when they bail out General Motors when they're going out of business? They bail them out for billions. Did the taxpayer get their money back from that? They certainly didn't. So this is what's interesting. We are now seeing that this new energy vehicle business is moving. It just now arrived in Canada. It has been arriving in South American nations. It's been arriving in all nations around the world. These cars are being welcomed. It's a beautiful thing. It's China's turn. Get out of the way, guys. Let these guys come in. Now, another thing I just wanted to unpack here, so people can really understand that this isn't just about China, China's dominance. China doesn't want to take over the world. They're actually more interested in collaboration. And having said that, for people that are China skeptics or critics of this country, you have to understand just outside that window here, I live in a city of Chongqing, city population of 36 million people. China has 10 cities, 10 megacities over the population of 10 million. They have 100 cities over the population of 1 million and approximately 662 cities of sizable, I would say, interest. Now, what happens here, Chris, is um, we look at China and we think that this is a country that wants to dominate. We look at a country that maybe some people have a stereotype that all it can make is cheap products, all it makes is cheap t-shirts. The apparel business here in China, that's in Bangladesh, that's in Vietnam, that's long gone, viewers. That's long gone. The other thing is I'll give you an example. The largest world fair is called the Canton Fair. That is twice a year. It's been going on for about 60 to 70 years here. Now, if a buyer goes in there from Walmart and says, okay, we got this water bottle, we only want to pay 3 cents for it. And they say, well, sir, if you pay 6 cents for it or 9 cents for it or even 12 cents for it, the quality is going to be much better. But no, the buyer in the end dictates the price, and the shipper or the manufacturer, the Chinese, make it within that spec. So if you're seeing cheaper Chinese products over in the shores in your country, that is based on a buyer like a Walmart or a Costco that has purchased that product and delivered it to you. So you can't really blame the Chinese for other countries doing that. And I did walk the halls of the Canton Fair, and I can tell you, I hardly met a Westerner at this fair. It was all Middle East. Middle East was there. They're very concerned, Chris, very concerned about the plastics and recycling and the petroleum stuff that is used in many things that we are unaware of. They are very concerned. They showed up at the China Place, which is the China Rubber and Plastics in Shanghai. 900,000 people attended that. And the Middle East showed up in numbers. The Middle East, where these guys used to be the center of manufacturing, they've come to China because their business is dead in the water. I'll pass it back to you. Thanks for giving me some time to talk.
No, absolutely. It's very important and very, very prescient. And of course, you've been on the ground. You've seen a lot of it, especially with auto manufacturing, as you mentioned now, with plastics, which are very much connected to what's happening in the Strait of Hormuz, the Persian Gulf, the two wars that we've seen in less than a year against Iran. All of this is very well connected.